Welcome back to the Gentleman Ultras YouTube channel. I'm Richard Hall, looking through the headlines. We're going to start with the Corriere dello Sport this morning. Vlahovic, Chiesa, as you can see there. Excuse me. This talks about Vlahovic is like Chiesa, but unlike with Chiesa, Fiorentina are trying to lock down the Serbian talent. He says he's like the big clubs are all after him. He's worth his weight in gold. Commisso prepares an anti-escape contract. So it's quite an interesting one because obviously they don't want to lose their talent again. Lots of Milan have been the biggest ones sniffing around Vlahovic. Very talented striker, so obviously Fiorentina want to get that down and sorted, which fair enough, you can understand. Talking of players staying, I think it's worth seeing Tuttosport here, who say CR7 Resta, Mr. Ronaldo, due to stay in Turin. That's actually come from his close friend Pepe, who's the Porto defender, Portuguese international, has said that Cristiano is happy in Turin and he'll be staying for another year. So that's either decisive or divisive for Juventus fans, depending on which way you want to look at it. Personally, if you've got Cristiano Ronaldo in your team for another year, it can't really be that bad. Still scoring an incredible amount of goals, and it's just how Pirlo can manage to work that team around him. Talking of Pirlo, excuse me. Very much in Gazzetta dello Sport, they're talking about the game against Atalanta, which is a precursor to the Coppa Italia final. It's going to be a cracking game. Gasperini here, obviously going to go and attack. It says Pirlo is going to go all out. Really exciting and entertaining game, not only for, like we said, for the Coppa Italia final precursor, but also for the Champions League. This is massive. If Juve lose, what's the future of Pirlo? It hangs in the balance even more, even though they've said he's staying. It's going to be very, very interesting there. We're also going to look at the fact of Tuttosport here, talking about the Coppa Italia final, which we've just mentioned, will have at least 3,000 fans at Sassuolo Stadium. That's going to be very entertaining. Great to hear that fans are also going to be back in stadiums from May the 1st potentially. So that's going to be very, very good. It says here that obviously not only from May the 1st that 1,000 fans will be allowed back in football, but also that then also swimming pools, other elements will open up until bars and restaurants eventually. So good for Italy to see some forms of life and some way out of this pandemic at the moment. Also here in Gazzetta dello Sport, it talks about Napoli versus Inter. Another huge game. It says in Argentine at Maradona Stadium, the Taro Scudetto for number 10. Obviously, huge game for Inter. If they beat Napoli, I think it's over. Pretty much anyway. If they lose, Inter, excuse me, as much as I do, then I think that people will still be a little bit worried, and can they bounce back, and will the Pazza come in, etc., etc. We've seen that story before. Talking about the Milan and their chase for the title, Milan go up against Genoa. Excuse me, I really got the cough this morning. Go against Genoa. Smaka versus Ibra. It says he's seen as an understudy for Zlatan, and it's going to be quite a feisty affair, although realistically Milan are expected to win that game. And the story, bit of a tragic one here, that's gone through all the papers. After Roma was successful against Ajax, Chris Smalling came back to his house, but he had a home invasion from robbers that came after the Europa League game in the night with guns and took at 4 a.m. in the morning, and this is in all the papers here. Home invasion after 4 a.m, jewels and cash stolen, England international robbed in his villa in Rome, thieves with guns, and his family are in shock, which is absolutely understandable. Really tragic story that, and let's hope that that's not ruined his experience in Italy, and that he can continue to put in those good performances for Roma as he has been doing. Again, it talks about the semi-final of the Europa League with Roma, and we talked about them just a second ago. It's saying that Fonseca is ready to leave, even if they go through in the against Manchester United. It's really saying that sort of relationship with him and the ownership is really, really, really fraught at the moment. So that could be an interesting one to watch. Other elements here, talking about management. Ranieri wants to stay at Samp, it says here, whilst Fiorentina, after Gattuso, because obviously his potential split with Napoli is imminent. Because of the relationship that looks to be broken with De Laurentiis, which De Laurentiis seems to have a very a good ability to do that with quite a lot of coaches. finally, we've really got to look at Tutto Sport here. Interesting that it says that there's actually two elements we need to look at actually. One about Cassano calling Inter ugly. Attivo Bianchi has an exclusive here where he says the table doesn't lie and Conte and Gattuso work well. He's talked about Gasparini, he's really impressed him, but says that Inter aren't ugly in the way they play, they're pragmatic, more references to Trapattoni, etc, etc. And finally, to finish off, Mario Mandzukic, absolute round of applause for him. He's been injured for the whole month of March and has decided because of that he's not going to take any salary. I just think that's a really nice story, and you know, in these circumstances with teams the way they are, that's a nice way to end it. So from us here, it's Jeff now.